The Enigma of Pharaoh Salitis, Egypt's first Hyksos ruler. Introduction to a forgotten pharaoh. When we think of ancient Egyptian rulers, our minds often gravitate toward iconic figures like Cleopatra, Ramses the Great, or Tutankhamun. Yet, buried deep in the sands of time lies the story of Pharaoh Salitis, a figure who reshaped Egypt's trajectory in ways that continue to spark intrigue and debate among historians. Salitis, the first ruler of the 15th dynasty, was a leader whose reign marked the rise of the Hyksos in Egypt, a foreign people who introduced new technologies, military tactics, and cultural dynamics. His story, though shrouded in mystery, paints a vivid picture of a transformative era in Egyptian history. To understand Salitis is to uncover the roots of a dynasty that forever changed the balance of power in the ancient world. Expanding Avaris, the jewel of the Hyksos dynasty. One of Salitis' most remarkable achievements was establishing and fortifying Avaris as the Hyksos capital. This city, located in the eastern Nile Delta, became a hub of trade, military strategy, and cultural convergence. Its strategic position allowed the Hyksos to control vital trade routes between Egypt and the Levant, fostering economic prosperity. Excavations at Avaris have revealed fascinating details about the city's layout and architecture. Unlike traditional Egyptian cities, Avaris bore clear influences from the Levant, showcasing a fusion of Hyksos and Egyptian styles. Walls of the city were fortified with unique designs, likely inspired by the defensive structures common in Canaanite regions. The city also featured elaborate residences, granaries, and temples, underscoring its role as the administrative heart of Hyksos rule. Salitis' decision to fortify Avaris reflected his foresight as a ruler. By securing his stronghold, he created a base of operations that would enable the Hyksos to maintain control over northern Egypt for generations. The military genius of Salitis. Salitis' rise to power coincided with a period of instability in Egypt. The Middle Kingdom, once a bastion of Egyptian culture and administration, was crumbling under the weight of internal conflicts and external threats. Salitis recognized this vulnerability and capitalized on it, using advanced military tactics that caught his enemies off guard. The Hyksos' introduction of horse-drawn chariots revolutionized Egyptian warfare. These chariots, lighter and more maneuverable than the foot soldiers and carts used by native Egyptians, allowed the Hyksos to dominate the battlefield. Salitis also utilized composite bows, which had a longer range and greater power than the traditional Egyptian weaponry of the time. Beyond technology, Salitis displayed remarkable strategic acumen. He avoided direct confrontations whenever possible, opting instead for calculated sieges and tactical alliances. By employing a combination of diplomacy and military force, he was able to establish control over key regions without expending unnecessary resources. A time of cultural exchange. While Salitis is often remembered as a conqueror, his reign also fostered a unique blend of cultures. The Hyksos, though foreign to Egypt, were not entirely isolated from its traditions. Under Salitis' leadership, the Hyksos adopted many aspects of Egyptian governance, religion, and art. For example, Salitis is believed to have paid homage to Egyptian gods like Ra and Osiris, incorporating them into the religious practices of his court. This fusion of beliefs created a distinctive cultural identity that blended Hyksos traditions with Egyptian customs. Some scholars speculate that this syncretism was a deliberate strategy by Salitis to legitimize his rule in the eyes of his Egyptian subjects. A particularly fascinating example of this cultural exchange is the depiction of Hyksos rulers in Egyptian-style art. Statues and carvings from this period often show Hyksos leaders wearing traditional Egyptian regalia, such as the double crown symbolizing rule over Upper and Lower Egypt. These depictions suggest an effort by Salitis to present himself as a rightful pharaoh, not merely a foreign conqueror. Resistance and rebellion. The Theban threat. Despite his success, Salitis faced growing resistance from southern Egypt, particularly from Thebes. This ancient city, located in Upper Egypt, became a rallying point for native Egyptian opposition to Hyksos rule. The leaders of Thebes, though initially unable to challenge Salitis directly, began laying the groundwork for a long-term resistance that would eventually culminate in the expulsion of the Hyksos. One of the most enduring stories from this period involves a diplomatic exchange between Salitis and a Theban ruler. According to some accounts, Salitis sent emissaries to Thebes, demanding tribute and loyalty. The Theban ruler, however, responded with a bold declaration of independence, refusing to bow to foreign domination. Though the details of this interaction are lost to history, it highlights the tension that defined Salitis' reign. While he successfully established control over northern Egypt, the south remained a persistent thorn in his side. Speculations about Salitis' personality and leadership style. What kind of ruler was Salitis? Although direct evidence is scarce, historians and archaeologists have pieced together a picture of a pragmatic, adaptable, and possibly charismatic leader. His ability to unite diverse groups under his banner suggests he possessed a keen understanding of human nature and politics. Some theories propose that Salitis was not merely a warrior king, but also a skilled negotiator. He may have formed alliances with local Egyptian leaders, promising them positions of power and stability in exchange for their loyalty. This approach would have allowed him to consolidate his rule without resorting to constant military campaigns. Others speculate that Salitis had a deep appreciation for Egyptian culture. By embracing elements of Egyptian religion and art, he may have sought to bridge the gap between his Hyksos heritage and the traditions of his new subjects. The legacy of Salitis and the Hyksos dynasty. Salitis' reign marked the beginning of a new chapter in Egyptian history, one that continues to spark debate and fascination. While some view the Hyksos as invaders who disrupted Egypt's natural order, others argue that their contributions to technology, trade, and culture left a lasting impact on the civilization. For example, the military innovations introduced by the Hyksos during Salitis' time laid the groundwork for future Egyptian victories. The adoption of chariots and advanced weaponry eventually enabled native Egyptian rulers to reclaim their land and establish the powerful new kingdom. Salitis' emphasis on trade and commerce also set the stage for Egypt's economic growth in the centuries that followed. By connecting Egypt to the wider world through Avaris, he opened new opportunities for cultural and economic exchange. Anecdotes and myths. The legend of Salitis. The lack of concrete records about Salitis has given rise to numerous legends and myths about his reign. One popular tale suggests that Salitis had a secret network of spies who helped him maintain control over his vast territories. These spies, disguised as merchants and laborers, reportedly gathered intelligence on potential uprisings and rival factions.